Okay, so today I'm going to be teaching you how to use TinkerCad. So once you log into TinkerCad, you come up to this screen, which pretty much tells you and shows you all of your designs you've ever created. TinkerCad is completely web-based, so it's like on a cloud, so kids can start a project on one computer, shut it down, go home, finish it on their home computer, and vice versa. So when I log in, I see my recent designs. One of the things that's really kind of wonky about TinkerCad is that it creates these really crazy names. So you ignore the names completely, and you can see some of the projects that I've worked on. And today we are going to be showing you how you create a new project. So we're going to go to Create New Design. And right away you notice that what you see is really a work plane. TinkerCad is all about working in 3 planes at once. You've got your X, you've got your Y, and then the really trippy thing for kids is that you also have a Z. And so they're constantly working in 3 planes, constantly having to think about an object as 3-dimensional and making sure that it works. What TinkerCad does is it just takes a series of geometric shapes and it groups them together to create objects. So you're going to have to apologize. I'm working on a home computer without a mouse, and I do always recommend that when students are in TinkerCad that they have a mouse. It makes life much easier. So you can see here they've got some geometric shapes that I can build my objects with. They also have a number of letters, numbers, symbols, other things as well. Today we're going to create a very simple design, which is of a house. And it sounds simple, and we'll see how right I am. Anytime you want to move your work plane back to the home, you just kind of hit it there. When I'm working, I do like to kind of start from a perspective where I can see dead on what I'm dealing with, and it's a drag and drop situation. So I'm going to drag it on. I can see that's underneath the structure, so I can see that I'm right on the bed, and that's like the same as the print bed almost. So I'm right on the bed. I have nothing kind of going underneath. Some weird things about TinkerCad, weird, different, what have you. You enlarge by dragging and dropping, but if you want to move a shape up or down, you have to click on that arrow and do it like that. And you can see here that I'm actually midway between the bed, which is what we want to avoid right now. So I'm going to shift that back up so that I'm at 0. You'll see right here, it shows me that I'm at -1 millimeters. So I want to move that up to 0. That tells me I'm flat on the bed. So now if I circle around my house, I can see it all looks pretty good. And there you go. The next thing I need to do then is add a roof to my house. So again, dragging and dropping, bringing a pyramid in. What it looks like it's doing right now is it's just bringing that shape up like closer to me and further away. So I want to drag it there, drop it there. I'm going to shift it up. I can see that my house here, if I take a look at my measurements, and you're going to notice right away that I'm going to have to do some spinning in order to figure it out, is 20 millimeters, sorry, off the ground. So I want to make sure my roof is also that. I'm right at 23, so I want to drag down to 20, and then I want to shift over. So I want to shift over, and then I want to line it up so it looks like it's on top of my house. Right now, unless I've moved it, nope, the height is fine, and it looks to me like I'm okay. It looks like my shape is pretty lined up. I'm going to drag it a little closer to me, make sure we're good. However, and you might want to even go a little lower, like so that you're fully attached, 19 millimeters. If I rotate, you see the problem. So this is a big piece of learning for kids, is that they are constantly having to work in 3 dimensions. So if I shift over, and then you'll see that I've got to go up as well. I want to lay my roof over the house. Maybe I'll make it a little bigger. Maybe that'll solve some of my issues. I want to stretch it here. Nope. You will use the word uh-oh more often than you ever thought possible when dealing with TinkerCad, but it's just when you're manipulating. It's nothing super crazy. It's just trying to make it fit and work. So now if I rotate around my house, I notice that I'm still not lined up, even though it looked not too bad the way I was. So I have to now, I've shifted from that perspective, so now I'm kind of taking a look at it from the back perspective. Shifting it closer. Again, I've made my life a lot harder by not having a mouse. Do recommend. I'm sitting right on the house, which is perfect. So now if I rotate, I've got a problem. And this is life, and this is what happens with TinkerCad. And sometimes it's a bit of finickiness, and it's the #1 reason that prints actually fail for students is that their shapes aren't lined up on all ways. And it's possible for me right now, I'm trying to like make it symmetrical. I'm having some issues with that. I might have to give up at a certain point, but if I rotate now, actually, I'm not too bad. I have a house. The roof actually seems to cover my house from all 3 perspectives, which is a bonus. And now what I want to do is group those objects together. So all you do is you take your cursor, I highlight, and then I press this button up at the top and I go group. So what I've now done is if I move my house, that's kind of creepy, if I move my house, then the whole thing moves together. So now I've grouped my square, my box, on top of my roof, and I have one house. So now I want to add a door. So again, dragging and dropping another shape in. I'm going to change the color for my own simplicity's sake. The kids get really obsessed with color. There's really no point in being obsessed with color because our 3D printer only prints in one color, but it does help to differentiate and see things different, see things easier. So I want to, it's all about perspective and scale with 3D printing. So I want to shrink my structure a little bit. Want to make it actually seem like it might be a door. Here, this I haven't done with you yet. If I click on these arrows, it allows me to rotate my structure, which is sometimes an easy way to make objects fit. Right now I'm trying to get my door so it's in the house, near the house. You can see my door is way out of proportion right now. So we said that the base of the house was 20. Right now, my whole I wasn't following my own advice. I need to shrink this down. There we go. And next step, my door was actually 20, so that's not super realistic. So that's when you get into, and there we go. So I just accidentally rotated my figure, so I'm going to go undo. We do have an undo box, and it is one of the best features. I'm going to shrink it, and you would have conversations with kids about what's a reasonable size door, in a classroom, wherever. And that's where you get into some really great talk about proportional reasoning. Again, I thought my door looked pretty lined up, and then I rotate and I noticed not so much. So again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it back. No. Yeah. Drag it back. Again, I do recommend the mouse because now I've moved it the opposite side of my house, which doesn't help me a huge amount, and really far away. I'm going to undo that actually because I've moved it almost so far that I can't even deal with it. There we go. So again, it's finicky right now, and I do, like right now I'm using the cursor to move it, which is another really probably less frustrating way to do it, especially if you don't have a mouse, to just kind of move my structure sideways. So it's almost like I'm translating it, right? If you want to talk about math, you're talking about translations there. And I want to move it so that it disappears into the house, which if you take a look, see how here it's straight and now it's partially disappearing. That's what I want to actually happen, because what I'm going to do is actually dig it further in. There we go. So now I have a door. It's actually kind of a miracle centered-ish. I am going to bring it down because usually doors are at not a step way. And again, I am going to click, oh, sorry, I'm going to click on my door and I'm going to make it a hole. So what that does is that it takes that shape and it kind of makes that shape invisible. So now I have a hole in my house, the shape of a door, and now I drag and drop and I group it all together, and now you can see that I have a door. You'd then do the same with windows. You can add a porch, you can add all sorts of features and things. So this is a very basic example, but it is an example of TinkerCAD and what you can do with it and how you can build using just a series of very basic shapes. So that's it. Hopefully it helps. If you have any questions, let us know. We'd be love to help you. Thanks.